afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to PBTV. We are live on YouTube and Facebook. So, bringing something a little different out today, a PDW. Loads of people ask about these all the time. What are they? What defines a PTW? What's their best use and everything like that? But we've also not covered this before. So this is the LT-15 Gen.2 PDW. So we'll go through this. We'll go through PDWs in general. But if you do have any questions at all, as always, drop them down below and we'll try and cover them as quickly as possible. We'll go front to back and get to the all-important PDW stock on this and then cover some PDWs in general. But on the front, obviously we don't have a standard flash hider. We do have a device on the front of this. But underneath that, we do have a 14 millimeter counterclockwise thread. So if you don't want this, you can always put a tracer unit on there, Spitfire or anything like that. Just be aware that the thread is about here. So anything that you get needs to be the same thickness as this, or make sure it can fit inside the rail system. The Spitfire itself most likely will. It'll dress down in there and probably fit quite flush and look really, really cool. Scottish Cat 32, one of our regulars, is here quite often. Good to see you. What's the FPS on this? So, out the box, this one's doing about 315 FPS on a 0.2. That's usually the going rate for a Lancer. Anywhere from sort of 310 to 320 is completely normal. I'd probably stick to sort of 2.52s in this. You're probably going to get some the best results with that when it comes to overall range and accuracy with it. But it does have one little feature inside, is it already comes with a tight bore barrel. So it does have a 6.3 millimeter tight bore barrel. So that accuracy and the consistency between shot is going to be really, really good on something that is essentially an entry-level platform. It is becoming quite commonplace, but it's either a 6.03 or a 6.08 is usually the choice between barrels currently with new platforms coming out, and the fact that this has the tight bore already means that it's something that most people want to do straight away, is swap the barrel out to a tight bore. This is already done, so you don't have to do it. Always a good feature. The quad rail that comes behind that, again, polymer rail and polymer receiver. Any part on this that can be polymer to save weight is. Any part on this that has to have some strength to it or is structural, like the stock or controls, etc., is metal. But, so we have a polymer style quad rail. So we've got 22mm riz on the right, left, bottom and top. And on the top you can see the flip up sights. They do click down and lock in place, and then pressing the button behind just pops them up straight away. Pin at the front, aperture at the back. Delta Hotel Airsoft on YouTube. How long is the inner barrel? Oh, caught me out on missing some information. So yeah, it is a 6.03 in diameter. It is 320mm in length. So that is kind of the standard length that you'll find in a carbine platform. If it is a true CQB PDW, so this being a PDW is via the stock and being a personal defense weapon, as in it's a bit of a colloquial term for CQB right now. But if you do have something true CQB like an ARP or something, you're looking at a barrel maybe half that, maybe 170 to 200mm. This is a full 320mm tight bore in a barrel, which is excellent in what is essentially a starter platform. But again, these things perform really, really well, look really, really cool out the box. You add some accessories to this and it can run around with the big boys, definitely. So coming back to the receiver and the controls, as I said, it is a polymer receiver. It's not, I'm going to make a difference between plastic and polymer now. So sometimes you get plastic platforms that have that creak and wobble and you can bend them and everything like that. This is a very, very durable, very, very rock solid polymer, similar to like your EU 17s and things like that. It's got some strength to it. It's not going to twist. You're not going to be able to bend your gun around corners, etc. It feels very, very solid. Control-wise, it is right-handed dominant, so we've got a fire selector on the left-hand side for safe, semi, and full auto. The bolt hold open doesn't do anything, but it is on that side. Mag release on the right-hand side here. We do have an extended charging handle here, which allows you to rack that back, and the red plastic you can see in there is the rotary-style hop unit. Again, off the bat, getting a rotary-style hop, another awesome feature that you don't normally see in entry-level stuff, but this having a tight bore and a rotary is absolutely awesome. Scottish Cat again, would you recommend using a drum mag with it? Drum mags are not something you recommend to people, but if you want to use a drum mag with it, absolutely, it will function with one. It's totally fine. If you're wanting to just run one mag with it and not have to reload or anything, absolutely. Electric drum mag, a mega mag, anything like that, go for it. It's not something we recommend because it's your gameplay style. So if you want to drop a magazine in this, not worry about anything else, and just spray rounds everywhere, you are definitely good to go with it. And it'll look quite cool with a sort of electric drum mag on bottom. Speaking of the mag, dropping it out, it does come with a 120 round mid-cap magazine. So if you are wanting to get a high cap, you will have to do that separately. It comes with a mid-cap. But personally, I do like adding reloads to my gameplay. It adds a little bit of risk, a bit of thinking on my part, and there's nothing more adrenaline spiking than coming around a corner, going dry, and having to reload before someone notices you. So if you are wanting to drop a drum mag in it, any standard AEG magazine will fit in this, whether or not it's mid cap, high cap, drum mag, low cap, absolutely anything, as long as it is the 5.56 shape. So yeah, if you've got any mags already, they will fit in it. EPMs, all the top end mags will fit as well. But yes, beta mags, all that kind of stuff, just drop them in and you are good to go. Mention the rear sight. The aperture on the rear sight can fold, so you have a real steel version is a day and a night sight. You're probably going to stick to the night sight because it has a wider hole. Again, with Airsoft, iron sights are a little bit of a, for show is the better word, but normally you're going to drop these away, and you're going to stick maybe an optic or something on the top of here just to make it a little bit more accurate. Iron sights can be a little bit squiggly either way and not the most accurate thing, but if you're just generally pointing in a direction with a drum mag, iron sights are good to go. A lot of people just drop them off and stick a optic on here. Dan Gracie on Facebook. Where's the battery kept, as the Lancer Gen 2 battery space is in a rubbish place? This is a battery space, and there's a reason why I've brought this one out and speaking about PDWs. So obviously with it collapsed, this is your battery space. Does not look like much, and it isn't, to be honest, but there are a lot of really, really good small batteries out there now, and a lot of people think if a battery's not going to last all day, it's not good enough. You could quite easily get an 800 milliamp battery in here, get a couple of them, and you can quite easily swap it out because this isn't screwed on. This is waterproof in here. There's two O-rings. This section just pulls off and you'll find your mini Tamiya behind there. If you're going out for a very, very long game, you're running a drum mag or anything like that, and you need the biggest battery you can, inside the box is this. So it adds an extra inch and a half in battery space, just allowing you to fit that slightly bigger one. I do believe it's slightly thicker as well. But yes, there are two battery compartment choices on this. So you literally pop this one off. The actual stock, so you saw me pressing this one to slide it in and out. If you then press the one where my finger is now, it does come all the way off, allowing you to easily access your battery. And again, you're good to go. Very, very easy to do in-game because it is not a screw. You can literally pop it off. The two O-rings in there are a friction fit, but are also going to keep it waterproof as well. As you can see with this one, there's two little O-rings there, and that's what holds it in. So pop that back off, throw a different battery and pop it back on, and you're good to go. Not very often that I'd recommend changing batteries in the field with a lot of platforms, but this one, it is definitely doable. And the fact that you get an extended battery compartment already, you are good to go. Reaper, is she well balanced? Yes. I mean, it's going to be a little bit weird with this because it is a polymer platform, but it has the metal PDW. It does feel like a lot of the weight is sat about here. Again, once it's shouldered, that's going to be taken up by that. It is just over 2 kilos in weight without any BBs or battery or anything in it. So when you pick it up, it's got a little bit of sort of stealth weight to it. You're expecting it to be a lot lighter than it is. But again, all that weight is here. So once this thing's shouldered, you're not going to feel it because it's going to balance in your shoulder and your weight's going to take most of that shoulder, and your hands are just free to do as they see fit. Are the iron sights removable? Yes. So they're not QD or anything like that. Obviously, they do flick up. But on the left-hand side here, there is an Allen key. Undo that, and you'll be able to take both these iron sights off, no problem, giving you plenty of space for red dots, magnifiers, PEC boxes, torches, anything you want definitely will fit on this. Oliver S on YouTube. Is it an easy change out rail system? So to change the rail on this, it will the rail will come off quite easily, and then just I've not checked what the barrel nut style is underneath, so if you are looking at changing the rail system, just make sure you look at one that comes with a barrel nut and make sure it is an AEG style barrel nut. Sometimes the difference between AEG and GBB, the threads on the barrel nut are slightly different. As long as your rail that you are getting hold of is an AEG style one, this will unscrew off and screw back on. Just be aware, when you do take your barrel nut off, your outer barrel will become loose, and then you need to stick it back on. But it is quite an easy task. If you don't know what you're doing, just contact one of our workshop staff and they'll explain, and when the shop is back open, we will be able to assist you with things like that. But it is quite an easy task, not a problem. Sam House, would you recommend a PDW for your first airsoft gun, as most local sites are CQB? So this is what brings me on to the term PDW. So a PDW is, in airsoft, has become a bit of a colloquial term for CQB, or it's for CQB, i.e. it has a collapsing stock. So these stocks are referred to as a PDW weapon because it means you can pack the platform away and it can be hidden. So it is a personal defense weapon. But because that's not really a thing in airsoft, they have become quite synonymous with CQB. What you want to do is, this thing in its current form is about 67 centimeters long when it's fully out. So it's got multiple different stock positions, but when it's fully out, it's about 76. That's probably about the same as most carbine length platforms. Again, what you want to look at in CQB from here to here doesn't matter. It's this section here that's going to be the difference of getting through doorways, working corridors a little bit easier, manipulating, everything like that. So if you're predominantly going to be CQB, I'd look for a CQB platform. When someone writes PDW on it, all it means is a skeletonized stock or something that can be concealed, so overall can be made small, not made small for working around buildings. For example, a P90 is a PDW, but it's also very, very good for CQB, whereas this is considered a PDW, but because of the attachment on the front, might be a little bit difficult to work through doorways if you're not used to it. It is quite a small platform, so I'm not writing this off for CQB at all. I've definitely seen people run around with full-size M16s inside and find it totally fine. So again, with CQB, and as I'll say with any airsoft site, go for the thing that you like the look of. If you like the look of this, Brucey bonus. If you want something a little bit smaller like an ARP or something that is purely designed to run around inside with, go for that. Can it be modded? Very, very broad term, but anything can be modded. Whether or not it's changing the rail, changing the iron sights, changing the stock, absolutely anything. But internally, I presume that's what you mean, it is a standard version 2 gearbox. So anything that will fit in a version 2 gearbox, whether or not it's Gate, Titan MOSFETs, WARFETs, anything that's an inline MOSFET in the back, you could change the barrel. You probably wouldn't because it is a 6.03 tight bore, but apart from that, any standard upgrade for a version 2 gearbox or an AEG will work perfectly fine with this. Oh, Paul Eastwood, how sturdy, strong is the stock, in your opinion? The stock is actually, I mean, I have said that it's polymer and it is very, very solid, but this thing just does not move. Even when you actually move it out, sometimes you get a little bit of a wobble when it comes to skeletonized stock. For example, look at the MP7 or the MP9. It is a single bar. So once it's out, it does have a little bit of twist. This is absolutely solid. It's going to have a natural twist like that because it is 2 straight bars, but you have a plastic bit for your cheek weld, a decent grip on the back for this to be shouldered. The rest of it is all metal, and it's made with a really, really good tolerance, so that takes away a lot of the rattle and everything. And again, very, very little shake and wobble. You are always going to get a little bit with a PDW stock, but to be honest, this is probably one of the most well put together PDW stocks I've ever seen on most things, and I've had quite a few PDW stocks. Delta Hotel again. Does it have a quick change spring? Yes, I believe it does. I think I was just checking the specs on this before, and again, my sort of go-to FPS is about that 315, 320, which this sits at. But if you are wanting to change it, if some sites nowadays have the 1 joule limit if they're CQB, and you do have to change it, it does have a quick change spring. What we mean by that is sometimes you have to take the gearbox out, split it in half to change the spring. A lot of platforms now have the ability to take the spring out the back of the gearbox without taking anything apart, meaning it's a lot easier. Always recommend that you do that under tech supervision or get a tech to do it for you, because if it goes wrong and you don't know what you're doing, it's going to go very wrong and you're just going to have a pile of parts and no one wants that. So I'll quickly run through some of its features again. Any other questions, please drop them below. It's always good to chat to people. But we have the device on the front. Underneath that is the 40mm counterclockwise thread. We have a plastic quad rail and a plastic receiver with standard 20mm rail systems on it. Flick up, spring-loaded flick up front and rear sights. That is pin and aperture. Controls are right-handed, but coming to the right-hand side here with the mag release, you will find a 120 round mid-cap magazine. Again, as I said earlier, any standard AEG style M4 magazine will fit. Drum mags, mega mags, PTS, your EPMs, all that kind of stuff will drop straight in here and work totally fine. Out the box, it's coming out about 315 FPS. You do have a 6.03 tight bore barrel, so your consistency and sort of grouping is going to be very, very good. The metal parts on this, the PDW stock itself, that's where most of the 2.1 kilo weight comes from. But again, once this thing's shouldered, you're not going to feel that. You've got multiple different stock positions, and then if you need to, you can press both buttons and take the stock completely off. The battery compartment here looks very, very small. So if you are running short games, you want to put a small battery in there, that's fine. You want to go outdoors, inside the box, so with it comes the extended battery compartment, an extra inch or so you can fit a larger battery in there if you're going outdoors and you don't want to change your battery as often. But I have recommended this. You can quite easily change a battery in game, no problem, because it is not threaded on the back. There's 2 O-rings to keep it waterproof, but it is a push-fit battery connector, which is always a bonus. But yes, so that's been the LT Gen.2 PDW, LT-15 Gen.2 PDW. Mainly touching on PDWs and where they sit and everything like that, but we've not done a video on this or Lancer in general, but this has been very, very cool, and it's always good to chat to people when they're wanting to know information. So we are away for the weekend. We'll be back on Monday. It is Proving Grounds this weekend, so if you're around the York area and you want to get out in the field, we will be there. But if we don't and you're out, just drop us a picture or something, or tag us in anything that you get on with over the weekend. But we will see you again at about 4 PM on Monday. Until then, I'll see you in a bit. Bye.